All right, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. If you're new, please consider subscribing. But happy Sunday wherever you are around the world. Appreciate all the new people coming and joining the Crypto ZX channel. Continue supporting, and you will continue to see these updates. Do hit that bell icon below so you are always notified when I make these updates. But let's talk about XRP, see what is happening, and I'm going to share some news, very critical news, and we'll go from there. And of course, at the end, I want to know from you guys in the comments down below as to what you guys personally think. So, late last night when I was making an update going into Sunday morning, and the market was green, and as of now it is holding. But in a grand scheme of things, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, you still need Bitcoin to hit specific levels, which I will speak about. But let's get right into it. Before I get into it, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in cryptocurrencies. So you could see this for yourself. Brad Gerlinghouse mentioned this, and I really want you XRP holders to realize this. And look what he says. Look at the long term and create value. This evolution takes time because the creation of an internet of value means a global adoption of same standards. It is about bringing banks, institutions, and states into crypto and blockchain, particularly at a time when maybe it is not as exciting, the hype around prices. Eventually, it is a time to build, and I could not, agree more. I could not agree more. So he's pretty much saying, the prices, some people only focus on price, and XRP holders only focus on the price and fail to understand, yes, the price has been stagnant over the past 2 to 3 years. Number one, we're coming out of bear market. And not only that, last time, this cycle, of course, we still saw a $2 price point, but that's not what I want you guys to understand. What I want you guys to understand is, the overall landscape, and in terms of, the SEC lawsuit, it was still going on, and, we did not even have any sort of clarity compared to what it's at now. But despite these facts, XRP continued, Ripple continued to evolve. They continue to build, and despite this lawsuit going on during this time, also you saw a lot of big entities still partnering with, Ripple and starting to use XRP as ledger because they saw the value behind it. Some people, when they think about the Swift takeover, how Ripple could eventually actually take over Swift. Some people think that's not a possibility, but do you think Swift was made in a snap of a finger and just 1 year it took off? No, it takes time. The way XRP is evolving right now, I think it is the most evolution we're really seeing for the project itself, and it gets me excited. And I totally agree with Brad Gerlinghouse that it does not happen overnight. But I really want to talk about the SEC lawsuit and how the final ruling happened. The chief legal officer, Stewart, has brought some key components to this. So I really want to dig through this, and we're really going to see what could be a possibility. And I'm going to share my personal thoughts with you guys. So you can see, Stewart, which is the Ripple's CLO, addressed that possibility of U.S. Security and Exchange, so SEC, appealing the final ruling of the Ripple case over XRP. So you can see, Stewart says, if the SEC were a rational actor, they should just move on from this case, underscoring the court's conclusion that there are no victims here. There's no one suffered any loss in this case, and there's no allegations of fraud. And this is the court's ruling. He stressed nothing in this case advances the core mission of the SEC. However, the Ripple chief legal officer expressed skepticism about securities regulator rationality. So he says, but we all know that when it comes to crypto, the SEC has proven itself not to be rational, and that's true. He added, the court is our case criticized at SEC for engaging in litigations, gamesmanships, and tactics rather than faithfully applying the law. Despite hoping the SEC won't appeal, he did say that I wouldn't be surprised if the SEC does come and appeal. So on what grounds would the SEC come and appeal? So, I know a lot of people are like, are we about to see this again? But if you've been watching the channel over the course of the last updates, I've mentioned one thing specifically. And what I mentioned is the fact that, SEC could come out and, appeal this due to getting such a lower amount. But in terms of, it being a security and all that, you can see this for yourself. Stewart emphasized that XRP status as not a security and the secondary market trading of XRP as not security transactions. That is the law of the land, and that does not change even if SEC appeals. And that's what I want you guys to keep in mind. The main factor when SEC originally did sue Ripple was, calling XRP, XRP, one of the biggest key components was they were calling XRP a security. Obviously, these guys don't understand, how native tokens work and stuff like that. But this time around, that won't change. You can see that does not change even if the SEC appeals. XRP status is not a security, and that is a big deal. And I told you guys before, the price, people are saying has not been skyrocketing. It hasn't really gotten into the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level. A huge reason as to why I think that is the case is because there's a huge amount of people that are still on the sidelines thinking that SEC is going to appeal this, and even the chief legal officer of Ripple is saying the same thing, that there is a possibility that SEC comes and appeals the ruling. So you can see the Ripple legal chief urged the public to remember that if they appeal, and again, I hope they don't, and if they're rational actors, they shouldn't, but there's no rationality statistically at the courts of appeal. Reverses lower court less than 10% of the time. Confident in the ruling, he asserted, given Judge Torres' careful and thoughtful treatment of all of the issues in this case, we're very confident that any appeal would withstand a challenge by the SEC. And he closed it off with saying this case was an overreach from the outset. They've got the terrible record. I would say, look, SEC, go back to your core mission to protecting investors in the market and stop focusing on cases where there was no harm for investors and there was no harm to the market. And I think, when the SEC actually did sue Ripple, and when this lawsuit really started, I think they hurt the investors more than this lawsuit, if it did not happen, could have done so, because a lot of people lost a lot of money when obviously the price of XRP came tumbling down originally, and a lot of people panic sold due to that fact. So I kind of agree with what Stewart is saying, but do let me know your thoughts down below. So still, what I want you guys to understand is there's still a lot of people on the sidelines, not too confident right now due to the fact that there is still a chance for an appeal. But despite that fact, in terms of innovation, in terms of XRP Ledger as seen as a huge deal in the upcoming future, a lot of people are not a lot of people, a lot of these entities, banks, institutions are focusing towards Ripple and partnering, and you could see that news by news, and that's what is exciting part. And yeah, let me know down below what you guys think. As far as dominance is concerned today, you are seeing the dominance kind of falling down, which is causing some of the altcoins to actually feel the love across the board. XRP right now, you can see this for yourself, is on the neckline of the key resistance. If we're able to break above this key resistance and actually close the daily candle above this resistance, honestly would not be surprised if we start heading towards that 60+ cents mark, depending on what Bitcoin does. Right now, Bitcoin also is literally sitting at a very critical key resistance. Obviously, it's not above it right now, but if it's able to see that close, you could potentially even see a 62K Bitcoin going into this upcoming week. But we're going to keep you guys covered. Let me know down below what you guys think, what excites you the most for holding XRP, and what are your projections regarding this SEC and Ripple case, the long case that's been going on. Do you think this time around it finally comes to an end, or do you think SEC is coming and appealing this? I think if SEC does appeal, we might see a little bit of price action within the price of XRP. But yeah, I want to know from you guys as to what you guys think. Love each and every one of you guys. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you tomorrow in Crypto ZX, and peace out.